Let me start by suggesting people who haven't already done so go back and watch my first video so you have a better understanding of what my channel is all about and why I do some things the way I do. In the future, I'll provide more such insights, partly because I already know how trolls will misrepresent what I do, so I want things on the record for future reference. You may also notice I'm not including video clips of the trolls I'm reacting to. This is because I repeatedly had them make strikes if I do any at all. Sure, they aren't legitimate strikes, but they make them anyway on YouTube, knowing that if I make a counter notification, the process will give them my personal information. I'm not going to give unethical people that information, so I'll just describe things and read quotes, but they will be accurate and in context. Don't be surprised if trolls who complained about me using clips now complain that I don't. Such behavior is expected from trolls. As I said before, this particular video will include an actual political example as well as one from an internet troll, so you can see how similar both can be. But normally I'll stick to the trolls and hope viewers can see the same behavior from politicians and the media. That's a major purpose of this channel. So let's start with a troll, a vlogger on YouTube who made outrageous claims and attacks on another vlogger and continued to do so even after the facts were provided to him. Of course, he deleted the facts that were provided, which is another common tactic. I refer to this troll vlogger as Big Mouth because he reminds me of those guys in the locker room spouting off about their relationships and conquests in high school, trying to get as much attention as possible with stories that may or may not be true, but many people blindly believe them. So what did Big Mouth claim? Well, on a live stream, which is pretty much just locker room talk, he claimed that when he moved to the Philippines in late 2017, he dated the Filipina P, a well-known Filipina vlogger, and that he lived with her for 3 months until January 2018. But he also claimed she was a scammer along with her entire family. This brings me to one of the tactics made famous by the notorious Joseph Goebbels in Nazi Germany. It's called the big lie technique. You see, people will often believe an outrageous lie more than a little one because they think no one would make such a statement unless it was actually true. It was amazing to see people write things like, "I find it hard to believe that the Filipina P would date someone like Big Mouth, but it must be true because Big Mouth gave so much detail." He did give details, but there is a saying that goes something like this: good liars give lots of details. Great liars do not. You see, details make something sound convincing, so liars do it. But details also make it easier to catch people lying if listeners really pay attention and do basic research, which is what my channel is all about. So let's look at the details. Big Mouth told viewers to check his earliest videos where we would see him meeting the Filipina P when he first arrived in the Philippines, as well as other points in their relationship for those 3 months. I checked every one of them. They show his girlfriend many times. It's always the same girl, and he introduces her as his girlfriend. It just wasn't P. But others who also checked the videos and admitted she wasn't in them still said they believed he dated P. That's ridiculous. Some tried to say he was probably dating this other girl on the side, but Big Mouth said it would be P we would see in the videos. She was never there. But there is more proof against him. He described the compound he lived in and approximately where it was located. He also described the surrounding buildings, and he said this was where he lived with P and other relatives. Well, one of Big Mouth's videos did a walking tour of the compound and surrounding area. Sure enough, the description matched exactly, and I found the place on Google Street View. Just one little problem. The girlfriend in his video in that compound seen washing clothes was the same girlfriend as before. So, no, Big Mouth did not date P. Yet people were still believing Big Mouth even though not a single detail that related to P was true. Were they just not paying attention? Or were they the kind of people who just love to see good people torn down? You know, like gossips who spend their time seeing who can make up the meanest things about others. I know there are a lot of both types out there, and I'll cover more in future videos. But what about Big Mouth himself? Well, I can't be sure, but my suspicion is that he didn't even know he got the wrong girl. He saw the attention the Filipina P was getting, thought it was a girl he had dated years before, and applied things that may have been true about his actual girlfriend and her family, and mistakenly assigned them to P. But even if that was the case, it still turned into a lie when the facts were given to him in his comment section, but he deleted those as he continued to make the same claims. He just couldn't admit he messed up like an honest person would do, so he'd rather hide the facts. Besides repeating the claims anyway, he said some really stupid things. For example, on another live stream, he said he and the Filipina P had agreed to release old videos that showed them together while they were dating, and that they'd release the videos on the same day on their own channels, which would happen next week. It made no sense on its face. Why would anyone, even if such videos existed, agree to help someone who had been going around trashing them and their family? For the record, that claim of next week was made in 2021, and there have been no such videos from either of them. Yet people still said they believed Big Mouth. So, to summarize what Big Mouth did, he made an unbelievable claim that didn't pass the smell test. He kept repeating the claim even when the facts from his own videos were provided which proved him wrong. He dug a deeper hole for himself when he said he and the Filipina P would release videos of them being together, which never happened. All through this, all he had to do was admit he had the wrong girl, but he couldn't do it. What does that tell you about the troll? To me, it shows they are weak, unable to admit error, but would rather continue lying. Guess what? We're about to see much of the same from a famous politician. Remember, this is about unethical and sometimes stunningly foolish tactics, not about someone's political policies. So if you like this politician's ideas, fine. Doesn't change the fact they were foolish in what they did in the following example. Just as foolish as Big Mouth was. During the 2008 Democrat primary campaign, Hillary Clinton had claimed that she had made a visit to Bosnia in 1996 under sniper fire. So they had to just duck and run from their plane to their cars. Thus the welcoming ceremony there didn't happen. She made other comments as well, such as people in the administration saying if a place was too dangerous for the president to go to, they'd send the First Lady. Now think about that for a moment. As with the claims of the Big Mouth vlogger, does that remotely sound logical? Who in their right mind sends the First Lady to a place under sniper fire? The only possible excuse I can imagine would be if Hillary, planning ahead for her own political future, insisted her husband let her go so it would look good on her resume. Okay, maybe she would do that, but it doesn't hold up because it wasn't just Hillary going. Their daughter Chelsea went too. How does that work? Does the administration say it's too dangerous for the president, so we'll send the First Lady and, just for giggles, send the daughter too? It just doesn't pass the smell test. There is also the problem that it wasn't true that Hillary was sent because it was too dangerous for the president, because the president had already gone there before Hillary did. The first person I saw challenging Hillary's claim came from the comedian Sinbad, who was also on the trip. He said it didn't go the way Hillary claimed. How did Hillary respond? Pay attention, because this is another common tactic. She just said he was a comedian, as if that meant he couldn't tell whether or not they had to duck and run for their cars. As you will see in future videos, trolls are known to try to downplay what others say against them using a similar illogical tactic. But as with the Big Mouth troll, it got worse, because apparently Hillary had forgotten that CBS did a video story when the trip occurred. What did we see? Well, there was Hillary and her daughter calmly walking from the plane, all smiles, and there's Hillary casually talking to the troops on the tarmac. But my favorite was that there is, in fact, a welcoming ceremony right there after all. And even better, it included an 8-year-old girl who read a poem and gave it to Hillary. Before you think it can't get any worse, just wait. Apparently Hillary heard the many people pointing out that she did meet with a little girl, because Hillary did respond to that criticism and said that, yes, as they were running to their cars, she saw the little girl and couldn't just run past her, so she briefly stopped, took her stuff, and ran on. Remember what I said about not passing the smell test? Well, tell me, what adults would somehow let a little girl out on the tarmac while sniper fire was going on, or even just the threat of it? That's unbelievable. And it wasn't just that little girl. There was a whole group of 7th graders there as well. But there is more, because all this video proof was already available online to anyone, which is why Hillary was getting all that criticism. We could see for ourselves that what she said simply wasn't true. Yet she kept insisting it was, as she made more false statements. Why would she, or any politician in a similar position, not know what was in those videos before making more stories up? It isn't like she had to check for the videos herself. She had a whole campaign staff to find such things. It only took me a couple minutes. But Hillary and her staff couldn't manage it? Another thing that is comical was there was an attempt, even by President Clinton, to say she was just tired or sleep deprived and made a mistake. There are 3 problems with that. First, she didn't just make the claim one time, it was multiple times.
We landed in one of those corkscrew landings and ran out because they said there might be sniper fire. The welcoming ceremony had to be moved inside because of sniper fire.
And last week,
I remember landing under sniper fire. We basically were told to run to our cars. Now that is what happened.
Another is that she was supposedly just confused. Okay, such things happen where the basic statement is accurate, but you get confused over when it happened or about a minor detail. Heck, in a speech the first President Bush made on a September 7th date, he referred to it as the anniversary of the date Japan attacked Pearl Harbor. Of course, he was wrong. The attack was December 7th. But do you see the difference? He certainly knew the real date, being a fighter pilot in World War II. But the names of the month do rhyme, and the number was the same. These kinds of errors are not hard to find people making in an isolated moment, but they aren't repeated over and over. But that was nothing like what Hillary did. It wasn't like she was under sniper fire, running for the cars during some other trip and just got confused about which one. There's never such an event at all. Most people don't think they were under sniper fire if they never were. The third one is just comical, because one of Hillary's campaign commercials was about the 3 a.m. phone call to a president and who could handle it best. That is, an important call the president has to deal with in the middle of the night. In the commercial, it is Hillary that answers the call, so she's ready to handle things at any moment, even when tired, at least at 3 a.m., but maybe not so well at 9 a.m. when she was making her sniper claims. So why did Hillary screw things up just as much as Big Mouth did? I can't know for sure, but the only logical reason, though a bad one, is that Hillary felt entitled to the nomination and figured she could make up such a story and not be caught out on it by most of the media. But she failed to consider 2 things. One was that even news media which would like to support her can't help much when the videos were already out there and no way to hide how absurd her claims were. The other was that she was running against Barack Obama. In short, while major media certainly liked Hillary, they liked Obama just as much and probably more. Think of it like when John McCain was running. He thought the media loved him, and they did, as long as he was critical of other Republicans, but not when he was running against a Democrat. So, there you go. The tactics and inability to admit error, assuming these things were errors, can be found being committed by ordinary trolls on social media and just as much from important politicians, which is why I plan to normally just use trolls for my examples instead of getting into actual political fights, at least for now. Thanks for listening, and don't let the trolls stop you from speaking out.